commercial fire. There is flames showing. Attention Brunswick City and Brunswick Hills, request for your department. Big 3 Automotive, 1669 West 130th Street, Hinkley. Engine from Brunswick Hills, ladder from Brunswick City, timeout 2035.
All right, so as most of you guys know, we had a fire. Behind me, you can see what's left. Not a whole lot. Pretty sad to see almost 18 years of collecting stuff, memories, laughs, and a lot of, blood, sweat, and tears into the building and into our business, and not a whole lot left, unfortunately. Most importantly, the cars, 21 vehicles are in here in total, between cars, trucks, motorcycle. Very sad to see that. A lot of them were just family heirlooms. We pride ourselves in taking care of that stuff. Unfortunately, when an accident like this happens, there's nothing you can do to stop it or to save it. So our thoughts go out to the people that lost their vehicles, their memories, and all their hard work and money and stuff you just can't replace. So luckily we didn't lose any life, and nobody was injured during this. We had 9 or 10 fire departments here trying to put it out, and it did take several hours to put it out, as you can tell with especially the 21 vehicles, majority of them having gas, having plastic, rubber tires. Like, it's really hard to control that, let alone all the oxyacetylene stuff, all the other pressurized containers or bottles of stuff that could go off. Very dangerous. Definitely need to thank all the first responders that were here. I couldn't tell you how many hundreds of people were here battling this fire, taking turns in and out. Just thankful that none of them were injured either, and that they risked their lives to not only protect this, but protect the neighbors, and try to do as much as they could to keep this contained. And frankly, they did a great job. And again, nobody was hurt, and that's what we're thankful for.
I appreciate everybody, all the phone calls, all the texts, all the messages, all the posts, everyone putting their pictures out. It's really actually helped us throughout this whole thing. Shout out to all the guys, all of our whole staff that's just been really awesome and really stepping up and helping us get through this. This is not easy. We're going to reopen, we're going to rebuild, and we're going to be back serving you guys' needs. So in the coming weeks and months, we're going to go over, we're going to film, and we're going to talk about everything that we've went through, from the good, the bad, the ugly, the insurance, specifically speed shop insurance, what we could have did better, and what we did right. So there's not much information out there about this type of stuff. Not many people want to share their experiences. I'm really hoping we can all learn as a community from it. There is light at the other side of the tunnel. So stay tuned, ask questions. If anybody wants to know anything, we're going to be an open book about this whole process. So there's nothing to hide. There's no. I want everybody to learn from all this, especially in this community, because this community is a really big one, and there's not a lot of people that share this stuff, especially when it comes to insurance.
So in this corner side of the shop, this is where we kind of kept all the parts for vehicles that were either outside, inside, next door, whatever extent they were taken apart. We would keep all the customer parts over here. We also had their parts that they were going to take home. We had extra engine blocks, engines, complete ready to go transmissions, a lot of inventory of that stuff. You can see the pallet racking behind us is just completely melted. The amount of heat that was into this, we heard over 2,800 degrees at the ceiling whenever the fire department was here. And I mean, all the ceiling structures compromised as well. We haven't heard about the building or what they plan on doing with the engineers yet. But this whole corner sustained a lot of heat, a lot of damage. Again, you know, everything back here is just a total loss is what, as far as, you know, the insurance company is concerned, is, and same thing with us. You know, if it wasn't just fire that would damage an engine block, it was just the heat and then the water. We know that, you know, steel is compromised when it's at an extreme heat and then cooled down rapidly. And I can assure you that's exactly what happened that night. So everything is rusty. Every engine block is rusty. If it's savable, do you really want to trust something like that? If it was just like a stock style engine, that wouldn't be so bad probably. However, with what we do and the performance and boost or nitrous and stuff, I would not trust a block. So some stuff might be okay for mock-up, but pretty much everything is, you know, just a total loss. And, you know, we've begun taking inventory of everything, which is really hard to do when you can't make out what stuff is. You might go off of memory or pictures you might have had, or some video or something in the background. You can kind of see certain things, but it's really, really, really difficult to remember everything you had. You know, again, we've been doing this for almost 18 years, and there's some stuff that's been with us for, you know, 15 years or longer. So it's really hard to figure out exactly what you had, where it was, and identifying a particular part when it's either covered with other parts or structure, insulation. There's just, as you can see, insulation everywhere. We've seen that it was on fire at some point and just kind of going all over the building or all over the shop space and lighting other things on fire. So it did spread fairly quickly. We did have a clock hanging up on the other side, and within 5 minutes that clock melted and stopped working from when the fire started, and it was on the complete opposite side, probably a good 80 feet away from it. So to talk about how fast the fire can spread and how lucky we are that nobody was injured during this. Some of you may not know, we're actually in a long building, and we do have neighbors right beside us. So the fact that they weren't injured was great. Very, very thankful that nobody was hurt, especially with how fast the fire spread. So where I'm standing now, right behind me, is what we had was our fab area, where we had our Bridgeport, our lathe, a bunch of welders, welding tables, our brakes and everything. We did all of our, you know, metal work and fabricating stuff. Spent, you know, many hours over there. We all did, and everything's deemed a total loss back here in the shop space. But that was probably where we had the majority of our equipment, and most expensive equipment was there, other than the dynos and the lifts. Everything is just melted. The only thing that's left is metal and maybe a couple things of plastic on the ground, but it's definitely a total loss over there. So here we have the all-wheel drive dyno, where I spent most of my time. I always dubbed it as my dyno. So this one hurts also. The computer completely gone, all the wiring. This is probably the piece of equipment that fared the best, just because I think they gained access behind the building here through the door we had for fumes and exhaust, and started spraying. Actually, the dyno straps that are strapping down the car are still intact. Again, not going to reuse, but they are intact. The most of the paint on the dyno survived. However, it's not something we are, you know, with electronics and stuff, there's so much heat that was put into this. We will not trust it. We will be getting new dynos. The other one is still underwater, so there's absolutely no saving that one. They all sustained a lot. Everything sustained a lot of water damage and heat damage. So it was definitely sad to see it in this state, seeing how I've seen it every day for years and years and years, and tuned a lot of cars. Also lost my laptop, and 15 years, 16 years worth of tunes on it. So currently working on getting access to something I backed up at some point. So hopeful that'll work, and we can get some of that information back. But either way, we'll carry on, and I'll make a new library of tunes and figure out another way to do some cloud storage or something. Stuff like this makes you learn. It's definitely not the easy way to learn, but we're definitely going to learn some things along the way as far as backing up information and stuff. And we definitely look forward to the future of Big 3. We don't know exactly what that looks like yet, but I'm sure when we do, we'll let you guys know. So looking in this corner, again, this is kind of where the fire actually started and probably burned for the longest amount of time. You can see that the aluminum engine block actually melted. A majority of what's left are the sleeves, the rods, and the crankshaft. This itself was a brand new stroker LS motor, boost prep, and ready to go to the customer. So pretty sad to see something as devastating as this, and just the amount of damage that fire and heat can actually cause. So this is our parts room, what used to be our parts room. All kinds of couplers and clamps and just thousands of nuts and bolts and stainless hardware and Holley ECUs and Holley sensors and just about everything you need to put a car together, and just multiple of each. Very devastating to see so much inventory in this state. The door was open, as it was always, just for carrying stuff in and out. So the fire definitely made it into here. A lot of brand new, everything in here was brand new. We did not keep any used parts in here. So to see all the air conditioning hose and fittings and just everything, and nothing is usable in here, is definitely devastating to see. And just accumulating all these parts over the years, is just a task in itself, and organizing and everything is just really, really, really time consuming, and we'll have to do it all over again. Probably make a few changes and do things differently, and it's fortunate that just about everything in here is not usable. Seeing how a fire spread into here and then started lighting this stuff up as well. Kept a lot of our oils and transmission fluids and parts cleaner in here, so as the fire spread, obviously it also gained some momentum once it hit this room, and they were able to put it out before it completely devastated this room and went out the window, but it was still a lot. So in this corner was where we kind of kept majority of our equipment that the techs use just about every day. 2 air conditioning machines. One is a snap-on for the R134A, which is most commonly used. In the corner is our Matco used for the newer refrigerant that we had just recently purchased this year to be able to start doing that stuff. Definitely not usable. Nothing that we can salvage from it, so definitely going to be doing buying new when it comes to a lot of this equipment. Even the cherry pickers and jack stands and jacks, we would never trust to use any of that stuff after they sustain so much heat. It's just not safe to use any of that. All the engine stands, 28 engine stands in total, not really worth trying to use. Some are melted as well, or bent in half if they had an engine on them. Definitely a lot of heat. So seeing how the fire started on the other side of the shop in the other corner, this is kind of the last spot to get hit. All the tools are still melted or damaged. We had a lot of electrical tools underneath this cabinet, pegboard hanging on the wall with everything, and everything still got torched. Luckily on this corner it did not make it through the wall, so the offices were heavily damaged with smoke and water as they were putting stuff out, but no actual fire ended up in this area. So we were pretty fortunate. We were still able to save one computer, which was our main server computer with all of our information on it for our customers and orders and invoicing and everything. So very, very fortunate on that. You know, if you got to try to make something good out of the situation, we were at least able to contact everybody that had appointments for the following weeks and contact everybody that was unfortunately had their vehicle here or scheduled to come in. So we went through all the tools here. Pretty much nothing usable, even though they weren't actually on fire, just between smoke and water damage and just the pure heat of everything. Even when things didn't melt, they were still extremely, extremely hot. And we're talking about specialized equipment and tools and special testers. So all that stuff is very vital to be accurate. Unfortunately, all that needs replaced too. So still fortunate about a couple things, but as far as the office goes, but as far as all the specialty tools, nothing's really savable, unfortunately.
Fire started the opposite end of the shop, but as you can see, the opposite corner, how the tools, fared. Stuff's just melted together. Screwdrivers are gone. The drawers, some of the stuff did okay, but you can see like everything's just got corrosion all over it. As far as the box goes, like trying to some of this stuff held up okay. It's kind of wild to see and just how the heat changed everything, but just corrosion on everything. Everything's rusty. Just a mess. Photos of Rick's car. Still there. Yeah.
Ask questions in the comments, like, share, subscribe, and keep it coming. Thanks for all the love, guys.